Okay, we're back with the book of Ruth. Ruth, chapter 1. What is that? Uh, El Elimelech moves his family to Moab. In the days when the judges ruled in Israel, a man from Bethlehem in Judah left the country because of a severe famine. He took his wife and 2 sons and went to live in the country of Moab. The man's name was Elimelech. Sorry. I'm going to say Eli so I can pronounce it. So Eli and his wife was Naomi. Their 2 sons were Mathon and Kilion. They were Ephraimites. Oh man, sorry guys, I'm horrible at this. From Bethlehem in the land of Judah. During their stay in Moab, Eli died, and I hope there's not another Eli in the book. Sorry. Elimelech died, and Naomi was left with her 2 sons. The 2 sons married Moabite women. Excuse me. One married a woman named, and I don't know if I'm pronouncing this right, but I'm saying Oprah, and the other woman named Ruth. But about 10 years later, both Mahlon and Kilion died, and they left Naomi alone without her husband or sons. Naomi and Ruth returned. Then Naomi heard in Moab that the Lord had blessed his people in Judah by giving them good crops again. So Naomi and her daughter-in-laws got ready to leave Moab to return to their homeland. With her 2 daughters-in-law, she set out from the place where she had been living, and they took the road that would lead them back to Judah. But on the way, Naomi said to her 2 daughters-in-law, "Go back to your mother's homes instead of coming with me, and may the Lord reward you for your kindness to your husbands and to me. May the Lord bless you with the security of another marriage." Then she kissed them goodbye, and they all broke down and wept. "No," they said, "we want to go with you to your people." But Naomi replied, "Why should you go on with me? Can I still give birth to other sons who would grow up to be your husbands? No, my daughters, return to your parents' homes, for I am too old to marry again, and even if it were possible, I were to get married tonight and bear sons, then what? Would you wait for them to grow up and refuse to marry someone else? No, of course not, my daughters. Things are far more bitter for me than for you, because the Lord himself has caused me to suffer." Excuse me, man, sorry. And again they wept together. Oprah, again, sorry if I pronounced that wrong, kissed her mother-in-law goodbye. But Ruth insisted on staying with Naomi. "See," Naomi said to her, "your sister-in-law has gone back to her people and to her gods. You should do the same." But Ruth replied, "Don't ask me to leave you and turn back. I will go wherever you go and live wherever you live. Your people will be my people, and your God will be my God. I will die where you die and will be buried there. May the Lord punish me severely if I allow anything but death to separate us." So Naomi saw that Ruth had made up her mind to go with her. She stopped arguing with her. So the 2 of them continued on their journey. When they came to Bethlehem, the entire town was stirred by their arrival. "Is it really Naomi?" the women asked. "Don't call me Naomi," she told them. Man, sorry. "Instead, call me Mara, for the Almighty has made my life very bitter for me. I went away full, but the Lord has brought me home empty. Why should you call me Naomi when the Lord has caused me to suffer, and the Almighty has sent such tragedy?" So Naomi returned from Moab, accompanied by her daughter-in-law Ruth, the young Moabite woman. They arrived in Bethlehem at the beginning of the barley harvest. Man, excuse me, I apologize. Ruth chapter 2. Ruth works in Boaz's field. Now there was a wealthy and influential man in Bethlehem named Boaz, who was a relative of Naomi's husband, Eli. One day, Ruth said to Naomi, "Let me go out to the fields to gather leftover grain behind anyone who will let me do it." And Naomi said, "All right, my daughter, go ahead." So Ruth went out to gather grain behind the harvesters. As it happened, she found herself working in a field that belonged to Boaz, the relative of her father-in-law, Elimelech. Again, sorry for pronunciation of that. While she was there, Boaz arrived from Bethlehem and greeted the harvesters. "The Lord be with you," he said. "The Lord bless you," the harvesters replied. Then Boaz asked his foreman, "Who is the girl over there?" And the foreman replied, "She's the young woman from Moab who came back with Naomi. She asked me this morning if she could grab grain behind the harvesters. She has been hard at work ever since, except for a few minutes rest over there in the shelter." Boaz went over and said to Ruth, "Listen, my daughter, stay right here with us when you gather grain. Don't go into any other field. Stay right here behind the women working in my field to see which part of the field they are harvesting, and then follow them. I have warned the young men not to bother you, and when you are thirsty, help yourself to the water they have drawn from the well." Ruth fell at his feet and thanked him warmly. "Why are you being so kind to me?" she asked. "I am only a foreigner." "Yes, I know," Boaz replied, "but I also know about love and kindness, and you have shown your mother-in-law since the death of your husband. I have heard how you left your father and mother and your own land to live here among complete strangers. May the Lord, the God of Israel, under whose wings you have come to take refuge, reward you fully." "I hope I continue to please you, sir," she replied. "You have comforted me by speaking so kindly to me, even though I am not so worthy of your workers." At lunchtime, Boaz called to her, "Come over here, help yourself to some of our food. You can dip your bread in the wine if you like." So she sat with his harvesters, and Boaz gave her food, more than she could eat. When Ruth went back to work again, Boaz ordered his young men, "Let her gather grain right among the sheaves without stopping her, and pull out some heads of barley from the bundles and drop them on purpose for her. Let her pick them up and don't give her a hard time." So Ruth gathered barley there all day, and when she beat out the grain that evening, it came out to half a bushel. She carried it back to town and showed it to her mother-in-law. Ruth also gave her the food that was left over from lunch. "So much," Naomi explained. "Where did you gather all this grain? Where did you work? May the Lord bless the one who helped you." So Ruth told her mother-in-law about the man in whose field she had worked. And she said, The man I worked with today is named Boaz. May the Lord bless him," Naomi told her daughter-in-law. "He is showing his kindness to us as well as to your dead husband. That man is one of our closest relatives, one of our family redeemers." Then Ruth said, "What's more, Boaz even told me to come back and stay with his harvesters until the entire harvest is completed." "That is wonderful," Naomi explained. "Do as he said. Stay with his workers right there through the whole harvest. You will be safe there, unlike in other fields." So Ruth worked alongside the women in Boaz's fields and gathered grain with them until the end of the barley harvest. Then she worked with them through the wheat harvest too, but all the while she lived with her mother-in-law. Okay, and I'll be back later to finish off the book of Ruth.